day. This is episode 8 of our channel. And this episode, we will tackle the Criminal Law 1 topic of felony. Okay. So we will focus on Article 3 of the Revised Penal Code. So for first year law students, I'm very sure that the earlier part of your Criminal Law 1, you will be asked, what is a felony? And to answer that question, your legal basis should be Article 3 of the Revised Penal Code. So under Article 3, it is stated there that acts and omission punishable by law are felonies. Felonies are committed not only by means of deceit or dolo, but also by means of fault or culpa. There is deceit when the act is performed with deliberate intent, and there is fault when the wrongful act results from imprudence, negligence, lack of foresight, or lack of skill. Take note of the use of the term deceit here. Several law books, textbooks, already corrected this. In fact, in the book of Justice Reyes, it is stated that the word deceit in Article 3 is not the proper translation of the word dolo. Okay, because according to Justice Reyes, dolus is equivalent to malice, which is intent to do an injury to another. So dapat malice yan. In fact, if you will reach Crim 2, you will encounter a legal definition of deceit when you will be studying estafa under 315 onwards. So it has a different legal definition and application. So here, you can replace it with malice. So malice, dolo. That's why in intentional felonies, malice is an element. Whereas in culpable felony, when a felony is committed by fault, no, meaning by means of imprudence, negligence, then here malice is not required if it is a culpable felony. So you will encounter more on this on culpable felonies when you reach Crim 2, particularly on Article 365 of the Revised Penal Code. So since you are now law students, please take note that you need to use the proper term whenever you are referring to crimes. And when you are referring to crimes which are found or punishable under the Revised Penal Code, please use the term felony. Whereas if the crime is found or punishable under a special law, under a special penal law, violation of, for example, the anti-photo and video voyeurism, your crimes in the Cybercrime Prevention Act, those are called offenses. Okay, because they are defined under special penal laws. Okay, so that's the difference between a felony and an offense. So let us discuss felonies, or those found under the Revised Penal Code. The elements of felony, as stated in the book of Justice Peralta, number 1, there must be an act or omission. In another video, we'll be studying actus reus, which involve an act or omission. So that is our first element. There must be an act or omission. Number 2, such act or omission is punishable by the Revised Penal Code. And number 3, the act or omission was voluntarily done, whether by dolo or culpa. The second element is important, especially because we apply the doctrine of nullum crimen, nulla poena sine lege, wherein for an act to be punishable, it must be defined, and it must be made as a crime under the Revised Penal Code if it is a felony, or under a special penal law if it is an offense. Otherwise, said act may not be considered as a crime. So we have a separate discussion on that doctrine in another episode. And for number 3, emphasis on the element of voluntariness, meaning whether the felony is an intentional one or a culpable one, it must be done voluntarily for it to become or considered a felony under the Revised Penal Code. So how are these felonies committed? Under the law, felonies are committed by malice or dolo, or by fault or culpa. If it is through malice, then there is a deliberate intent to commit such felony. That's why we call them intentional felonies. Theft, robbery, murder, homicide, and others. Now, if it is committed by fault or culpa, meaning the wrongful act results from imprudence, negligence, lack of foresight, and lack of skill, then that is called a culpable felony. You will encounter this again, the latter part of Crim 2, when you discuss, for example, imprudence, kapag crimes involving reckless imprudence resulting in homicide. Yeah, that's an example of a culpable felony. So those are the ways not to commit a felony. In one bar exam, a question was asked, may an offense be committed through culpa? So take note, we use the term offense, meaning those crimes punishable under special penal law. Is it likewise possible for an offense to be committed through culpa? Then the answer there is yes, it is possible, provided that the special law or the special penal law defines such offense expressly as an offense which may be committed by means of negligence or imprudence. The classic example here is Section 3E of your Republic Act number 3019, or the Anti-Graft and Corrupt Practices Act, because this offense may be committed through gross inexcusable negligence. So there's negligence there. Let us read the provision. Under Section 3E of R8 1319, it is stated that, or the punishable act is causing any undue injury to any party, including the government, or giving any private property any unwarranted benefits, advantage, or preference in the discharge of his official, administrative, or judicial functions through manifest partiality, evident bad faith, or gross inexcusable negligence. This provision shall apply to officers and employees of offices or government corporations charged with the grant of licenses or permits or other concessions. So here, if you read the text of the law, it punishes the stated overt act committed through gross inexcusable negligence. And in the case of People versus Lupoyon, gross inexcusable negligence was defined. And the definition is, it is the degree of negligence characterized by the want of even the slightest care, acting or omitting to act in a situation where there is a duty to act, not inadvertently but willfully and intentionally, with conscious indifference to consequences insofar as other persons may be affected. So this answers the question on whether an offense may be committed through culpa. So this is just a brief introduction of felony. In your journey in criminal law, you will encounter different kinds of felonies and all other concepts applicable to felonies. For now, just please remember the difference between a felony and an offense and how a felony may be committed. Thank you for listening.